Hello guys, Robot1 here, coming at you with a new series idea on my channel. And this series idea is essentially, will it be good? And it's basically going to be me talking about a specific archetype or deck coming out later on, and basically talking about what I personally think of it, how it will do in our meta because of how it will do in our meta in general, and where it will lead to from there. Because for a while now, I've been thinking about doing a series like this where I sort of discuss sort of new archetypes coming out, new decks coming out, all of that. And this is kind of one of the perfect times to do it. So I thought, why not? Seeing as I kind of want to start a new series on this, I kind of want to give my thoughts and opinions on it, and just, you know, talk about the entire series in general, the entire series of the deck, of decks. I thought, why not start by doing a new series about it, because I actually do enjoy making videos about certain decks, certain archetypes, and it's really nice to just talk about something like a new deck coming out and give my full opinions and how it will do in the TCG. Seeing as obviously the TCG and OCG meta are very different, so it's always nice to, you know, start off a new series and talk about what these decks will actually do in the TCG compared to the OCG. But yeah, so Will It Be Good will be a new series on my channel where I talk about archetypes that will be coming out to the TCG quite soon. Could have started this a bit sooner with the Darkest Diablos set, and my camera's gone a bit blurry. Let's try and fix that. Come on, focus. There we go. And also, guys, the background, yes, I know it's changed. Stuff was moved in my room, so everything moved behind me. But it's a bit more organized now. But yeah, so new series, we're going to be talking about Will It Be Good. And for the first episode of Will It Be Good, I thought I would talk about the Brandish. Yes, Brandish, that new spell-themed archetype coming out in the TCG very soon. We're going to be seeing it in about... Flames of Destruction comes out this week, so I think we'll be seeing it in about 2 weeks. I'm not, don't quote me on that, but we'll be seeing it very soon in the TCG after Flames of Destruction release. And I wanted to talk about Brandish to begin with because I felt like Brandish was a good start to talk about, because it's a deck that's doing very well in the OCG. It's one of the best decks currently in the OCG, with the fact that the deck is just able to power through itself so fast and be able to hinder your opponent so much. And it's just something I wanted to talk about because it looks like it's going to be very interesting in the TCG. So let's get into it by doing a little analysis of the deck, like talk about some of the things that I like about the deck, talk about some of the things that I don't like about the deck. So for starters, the deck actually only has one main monster, and that is the Brandish Pilot Girl. I can't remember her name. It'll be somewhere up there, or my my Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro will open up now and I'll be able to tell you. But there's only one main monster in the deck. Yes, I'm looking away. I'm sorry. There it is. Yeah, Brandish Maiden Ray, and essentially she is the main monster of the deck. I know a lot of the effects. I don't know the names. Please don't hurt me. But she's the main monster of the deck. The basic focus of her is that she is able to tribute herself to summon out the link monsters from the extra deck, the other Brandish Maidens, which are essentially her with battle armor on. And she is essentially there to be able to consistently go through the extra deck, being able to summon out her armor and turn into the Brandish warrior sort of thing, with like flying armor, with burning armor, with swords. Like that's the basic principle of her armor, of her in general. She's there to tribute herself off to summon out more Brandish. Now she also has the effect that when a Brandish link monster leaves the extra monster zone, she can summon herself from the graveyard, and she can also tribute herself off to then summon Brandish link monsters. So she has that kind of synergy that allows you to just continue doing everything in the game in general. So that's her main point. That's the reason she's there. Now there's also the rest of the deck is mainly based on spells. It is mainly based on spells, the equipment that Ray will be using to actually play the game. So for this, the best one that I can think of off the top of my head would be Brandish, the Brandish Anchor. Brandish Anchor. I'm gonna make sure I got that right. Yeah, Brandish Anchor. And Brandish Anchor is essentially a quick play spell card, which has the same effect as the rest of them if they got free spells in the graveyard, additional effect. And this is essentially, you can negate effects with it, plus you can also take monsters with it if you have free spell cards in your graveyard. And that's what this Anchor does. And the basic premises of that is, I want to take your stuff. There's also other spells in the deck. There's a token summoner to summon a Brandish Maiden Ray token. There's also a back row destruction, and majority of these are quick play spells outside of the destruction spells, such as Afterburner and Jamming Wave, the two spell cards that destroy back row monsters. Majority of them are all quick play spell cards, and as well as field spell, which is actually decent. But the premise of the deck is use the Searcher spell, which is start up engage. You start up engage to go through your deck. If you've got 3 spell cards in the graveyard, draw a card. If not, you can just search a card as well. But the point of the deck is search through your deck as much as possible, make as many Brandish monsters as possible, and just be able to play the game. Now, all these cards only function if you have no monsters in your main monster zone. Now, a problem with that is, with no main monsters in your monster zone, is that the deck is very susceptible to kaijus, which I don't actually like. The deck is very susceptible to cards like kaijus, because if you play one kaiju over one of their link monsters, then they can't essentially play the game because all their back row is essentially locked out. Which I don't really like about the deck. It takes away the ability to actually play the game in that stance, and it's something that I've never liked about decks like that. Like the BA lost to Link Monsters Kaijus very easily, because if you summon one Kaiju, they can't really do anything unless they have a Rhino Warrior. But this is even worse because you can't really do anything in general. Now, the deck can also put in cards such as Table of Continents to be able to siphon through their deck really fast, to then get those free spell cards engraved, and then essentially gain all the additional effects of their Brandish quick play spell cards or normal spell cards in general, which give them the additional pump up, which is really nice in my opinion. Like, the deck has that ability to quickly siphon through the deck thanks to cards like Table of Continents, and they also have cards like Upstart Goblin that you can put in there. It's only at 1, but you still put it in because it's a spell card. You can also play Terraforming, and there's multiple ways to get free spell cards in your graveyard really quick in the deck, which is really, really nice. And that's something I like about the deck, is that it's very fast. You're pretty much going to be running 3 rays, some hand traps, and all spells, which is something that obviously will happen with the type of deck it is, just being able to go through your deck as quick as possible to actually be able to play the game. But there's also downsides to this deck, which I feel like do occur. As I said with the kaijus, if you summon one kaiju over a link monster, all your spell cards are essentially ineffective. They can't be used, they can't be activated, which is something really bad about the deck, which I feel like is going to hinder the deck in the TCG, because with that fact that if you can just tribute over a single Brandish link monster, your opponent can essentially no longer play the game, which is something really big when you think about it, because if you can just stop your opponent from playing the game by summoning a single kaiju, your opponent's not doing anything big to stop that. And that's really important when you're thinking about a Brandish deck in general, because it will take away that key to be actually able to play the game. Another bad thing about the deck is that once we get this deck in the TCG, we're going to have decks like Altergeist in the game, which are very control-based. And this deck is more functional in a format where there's less control and more just outright, oh, I tried to build a board. That's something that I've noticed very heavily with Brandish. If you're going up against a control deck such as Altergeist, where they're probably maining like 20-something traps, and like maybe 3 spells, and then the rest is, and the other cards are just like the Kieran and the Multi-Faker, the deck's not going to do very well, because the deck needs that additional push to be able to get where they need to be, because of Anchor is a card that you use to steal your opponent's monsters to get more damage in, such as, and also there's cards such as there's also cards like Shark Cannon, that's it, that will allow you to Monster Reborn from your opponent's graveyard. But if your opponent is playing a sort of control deck, then you're not really going to be getting anywhere with it. Plus, cards like in Altergeist, the deck plays a lot of trap cards like Anti-Spell Fragrance, like Imperial Order, and that's something you've got to think of it as well. Because if you're going up against a deck that's playing Anti-Spell and Imperial Order, which I feel like will be heavily more played as soon as we get this archetype, you've got to consider how you're going to beat that deck, because it's going to be very hard for you to come back from it. If your opponent flips a card like Anti-Spell Fragrance, which will slow the game down for you very heavily, you'll just have to set everything and pass, unless you just want to turbo your quick play spells as fast as possible to somehow gain some advantage, or you would just have to just pass if they activate the Imperial Order, which is going to stop you entirely. Plus, the deck loses to Nat Beast very easily. So if you're going against 60 cards or anything that can make Nat Beast, and they go first, then they make Nat Beast, the deck essentially cannot play. The deck cannot play if you Naturia Beast them, which is another thing that I don't like about the deck. It can be outed very easily, which is something that's really, really irritating to me when I'm looking at a deck. Oh, how powerful is this deck? Oh, does it lose to these cards? Yes. Oh, well, that's perfect. I guess I'm not going to play this deck. And it's that sort of thing that I like to look at in decks. Like, there's the good stuff about the deck where it's very fast, it's very turbo, you can go through the deck really quick, you can go through get to your resources really fast, but at the same time, if your opponent's playing something and you're in a format where it's very control-based, with cards like Naturia Beast, with cards like, or there's Vortex Dragon that could just negate anything, or Naruto, or Decode that can negate targeting. Like, that's something, if the deck duels Magicians and they can make a board of Vortex, Naruto, and Decode, then they're not going to be able to target you with their Anchor. They're going to be able to negate any of your spell cards with the Naruto, and they're going to be able to negate anything with the Vortex. And that's something as well when you got to look at that. How many negates can the deck survive past? And looking at it as a whole, I feel like the deck is going to be a decent deck in the TCG. Like, this first episode of Will It Be Good? Like, I've tried to talk about everything that I can think about the deck, what the deck does, how good the deck is. The deck is mainly spell based. Obviously, it can be beaten very easily by cards like Naturia Beast, Anti-Spell, Imperial Order, all cards that are actually in the game now and ready to be dealing with this deck. And plus, and when this deck is out, we're going to have decks like Altergeist running around, which are going to be maining a lot of trap cards to stop spell cards as well, and just stop like Pendulum Magicians in general, or anything that could utilize spell cards a lot, like 60 cards, or 60 cards in general will be still pretty good, because the deck, if they don't lose Snow, they're going to be very good. And it's like, looking at it as a complete and utter whole, I'm feeling that Brandish is not going to be the best, purely because the deck can lose very easily to cards like Kaijus. The deck can be very easily lose to deck cards like Anti-Spell, Order, all trap-based decks, which we're going into a more control format now, where everything's going to be trying to negate you no matter what they do. It's less combo-based, it's more control, and that's something that, looking at Brandish as a whole, I feel is going to be a big problem for the deck. But in general, my full opinion of the deck, though, will it be good? Will it be bad? Honestly, it will still be good. Even though there's a lot of stuff in the game that will be able to counter the deck, even though there'll be a lot of stuff that'll be able to deal with the deck, if the deck goes far first, it will still do really well. Like, the only time the deck will not do well is if the deck goes second and you are very unlucky with your opponent's draws. Like, literally, if your opponent's not playing a Kaiju, you're good. If your opponent's not playing Naturia Beast, you're good. If your opponent's not playing Altergeist or Magicians, you're good. Like, the deck is very powerful, don't get me wrong. The deck is going to be very good, but even though it can be countered by all these other things, in the bigger picture, the deck will still be very decent, just because it's a going first base deck. And a lot of decks like to go first. So looking at it like that, for that perspective, where if it goes first, it can still do very well. And even if it goes second and your opponent doesn't open the anti-spell, the Imperial Order, the Kaiju, or anything like that, you'll do really well. Like, honestly, looking at this deck in a whole, I honestly say that the deck is not the best deck ever made. It's a very good deck. It's not the best though, and I feel in the long run, the deck will have its hiccups, its problems, but overall, the deck will do very well in the TCG. I think it will definitely probably top a couple of regionals, maybe a YCS, if you know it doesn't run into those problems, such as hitting Autogeist, such as hitting Magicians going first. If the deck goes second itself, like, the deck will do very well as long as it doesn't hit any of those snags. But yeah, guys, that's my opinion. Will it be good? It will be good. It will be a very good deck in my opinion. Just the fact that it can very easily make its link monsters, just the fact that all the spell cards over there that are really decent, such as Anchor, Shark Cannon, the token generator, the field spell even, and the deck can go through itself very fast by using terraformings, toon tables, Upstart Goblin, and it's a very decent deck in general where they can search their stuff very easily and they can recycle their stuff very easily as well. But yeah, guys, that's my opinion. What do you think of the first episode of Will It Be Good? This is going to be a new series. Hopefully, this is just the pilot episode, really, of episode 1. I don't know if I'll carry on doing this. It will really depend on how good a response it gets. But tell me what you think of Will It Be Good in the comment section below. Do you think do you think this series is good? Do you think I should do more of these, where I start talking about decks that are coming out later on, where I give my opinion on them, give a discussion, talk about what the deck does, how the deck will do, what could counter the deck, and just generally say what I think about decks in general. But yeah, guys, tell me all of that in the comment section below. Tell me if you think the deck will be good. Tell me if you think the deck is bad and I'm just a bad player saying that it'll be good. Just give me your opinions in the comment section below, because personally, I feel like the deck will be decent. The deck will be a very decent deck, and it will be able to play at a very optimal point. But yeah, guys, that's the video. Tell me what you think of it in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm not done yet. I forgot to say some things. Don't forget to like, comment, and tell me what you think of the video. If you liked the video and want to see more Will It Be Good, press the like button to show that you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh videos from me in the future, press the subscribe button to be subscribed to the channel and get those Yu-Gi-Oh videos in your subscription box. If you want to be notified of those future Yu-Gi-Oh videos, press the notification button as well. But yeah, guys, that's the video. Will it be good? I said yes, it will most likely be good, and it is a very good deck. Will it be in the top 5? Yeah, I'd rate it around 4. But yeah, guys, that's the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Robot1, signing out. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And check out the links in the description for the previous video, and the link to my Facebook page where you can see previous videos that I've posted there, and any other information that I may have posted there. I hope to see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.